And hello to our live stream viewers. My name is Chris Fernari. I'm the editor of Brewbound. I just got off the main stage upstairs and I sprinted all the way down here to meet our first guest on the live stream lounge this morning, Felipe Szpigel, the president of Anheuser-Busch's high-end division. Felipe.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, so first and foremost, thank you for hosting us last night. I know our live stream viewers tuning in right now, they weren't able to participate in our welcome reception last night, but thank you for hosting us at the CSO.
Oh, thanks again for the opportunity. It was a pleasure having everyone there.
And I really did like the collaboration beer that we did, the super excited session IPA. Are you super excited to be at Brewbound session right now?
I am super excited to be here. I've told you already. I mean, I'm a fan. I unfortunately didn't come to all of them in the last few years, but the ones I've been, they're always good discussions, good takeaways. I think it's fair provocations, good insights, things that I can take away and apply to my own business. Yeah,
what's been the biggest sort of takeaway this morning for you?
Yeah, we're quickly talking offline, right? I mean, I love your research with Nielsen on the buzzwords, I think two key interesting things for me. I think the first one is we talk a lot to ourselves, right? And because we talk a lot to ourselves, we think that the consumers know more than what they really know, right? So I think asking craft consumers about craft buzzwords, and you see many of them don't have the awareness level that you would expect. It's pretty surprising, right? And I think your question as well on, asking, the New England style IPAs are hot right now, but then people don't know about hazy, for example, as one descriptor. And I think the other exciting thing, and I shoot you a note as you guys were there, right? But I think the next phase for everyone is if we don't talk to more people and bringing them to the category, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to grow, and then it's going to be just a division of the pie and not a growing pie.
Yeah, and that's something that you've been very big on, actually, is this notion of, okay, we're losing share, we're losing the battle to wine and spirits, so how do we recapture some of that? What are you guys doing in terms of strategy, as much as you're able to share within the high-end division, to kind of go back after some of those occasions and get them back?
Yeah, I would say at this point not enough, but I'll give a step back and then try to give a few examples. But I think the step back is when we created the high-end, the whole idea was, we have this dream of making beer the most sophisticated beverage, right? And we want to take the leadership on growing the industry, right? I think we have one great example with Stella Artois, right? So it's less on the craft space, but it's on the high-end space, and it's targeting the same consumers. But Stella has been consistently on wine festivals for many years, right? So we are in all major wine festivals across the country, placed in a sophisticated way, right? And you would see we're actually the busiest booth on the events, right? And we're always connected with food, so we have a local chef showcasing, the beauty and the versatility of a great crisp hoppy lager and amazing food. But we have been doing more, right? I think making the bridge. I mean, we talked about this when we were in DC. I think our partnership with Wicked Weed is another example into our commitment to making beer more sophisticated, and I think even in the last panel, the on-premise, great retailers talking about sour, and it's less about sour and more about the barrel aging and the complexity of barrel aging, and how that complexity is a great bridge for wine and liquor drinkers, right? Yeah. So I think that's just a great example of I would say that we were playing catch-up modes probably on the last 2 or 3 years after the creation of the high-end. But now we feel confident with the partners we have and some of the examples that more things are going to come for us to help develop the industry.
Yeah, you mentioned the Wicked Weed acquisition, and obviously that's the most fresh one for you guys. You guys have done, I think, 10 brewery acquisitions now, as well as the Spike Seltzer brand, and you have, I believe, a 50% ownership or more of the Virtue Cider brand. So you guys have really built out a robust portfolio, but that Wicked Weed one in particular was one where the consumer backlash against that was very, very strong. And I haven't really encountered that since the Goose Island transaction in 2011. Can you just maybe talk a little bit about what that sort of felt like from your side and how you guys are dealing with that? I know there's been some issues with the was it the Funkatorium Invitational, the beer festival that they were going to do in Asheville. So, I think that it's one that really struck a nerve with consumers. So, how are you guys kind of managing that right now?
I think first we're very proud of the partnership, right? I mean, I think we have been talking and getting to know each other for more than a year, and I got to know, respect, and really like the guys. Walt, Luke, Ryan, Rick, and Denise. They created an amazing connection to community, right? And they are one of the coolest and up and coming brewers, right? And I think what somewhat, right, the footprint that they had on social media, right, and the connection that they had with consumers was already much bigger than the majority of the craft brewers in the industry today, right? So just by the reach that they have, I think that you would expect more conversations. I think a second one, and you're closer to us, right? I mean, you've seen, let's say, more of the things that we have been doing, and I think let's say the first perception of when we partner, we're gonna downgrade quality, or it's about whatever, closing the local brewery, or kind of the angst that some people that do not know us as much yet have. I think makes you flip your mind. I mean, why the hell would we partner with Wicked Weed if we had any intention of worsening the quality of their products, right? So it challenges people's perceptions of what's our role into the industry, right? And again, we don't mind proving again and again that it's about providing them more resources and it's about growing the industry, right? And I think time will tell. But I think people kind of and I think the third piece is, unfortunately, more recently, the industry seems to be a bit more divided than before, right? And I think that's going to move on, right? Because I think we have a battle, to fight together, right? Yeah. I mean, and that battle is to make beer more sophisticated, is to bring new consumers in, to develop new occasions. So I think, unfortunately, there's some more anxiety in the short term. It might be because of the headwinds that everyone is facing as well, right? But if we don't agree on some things, and if we don't work together to develop the industry, it's not going to be good for anyone.
Well, I think that anxiety is well placed for a lot of these brands. They're much smaller. They don't have the resources that you guys have, and I think that there are arguments to be made on both sides. I know that if I were operating a small sort of bootstrapped brewery right now, I would feel threatened as well. And so there's something to be said there. But you are making the argument that you're trying to bring up the category. So it'll be interesting to watch you guys do that. And I guess you guys really have to go out there and prove that that's what your true intention is, right?
I agree. I think we have been sharing our vision, and I told you, I think up to now we spend a lot of our time finding the right partners and learning from them and learning how we could operate and again provide resources, but keep their freedom, autonomy, their connection to the local communities, innovation. And we feel confident that, let's say, a lot of that catch-up has been done, right? That I have amazing partners that can guide us into what's the best direction for the company to help the industry. And I think we have great examples that we have already done, but we need much more of them, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, it'll be interesting to watch you, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
We have a couple more guests to get to, but Felipe, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining.
Super excited to be here.
Oh, yeah, you had to get that one in.